Morning crew, Brett from Limestone Permaculture. Just inside one of the exclusion tunnels, checking out the production, and it's starting to come back into abundance again. We have brassicas that are finishing off from the autumn-winter seasons, and we now have succession coming through. Part of that succession, as we can see, little tomatoes, but not just the idea that tomatoes are coming through after the brassicas, it's the different stages of tomatoes themselves. So if we move along, there were tomatoes that were planted a little bit earlier, so now they're coming into flower. And if we pan over to here, we'll see we got them a little bit bigger again. So the idea that everything doesn't need to be planted out all at once. In fact, taking your time and learning about your plants, the foliage, the roots, the interactions each plant has with each other. There's some really cool books out there that talk about roots. One of them is called Roots Demystified. Plant guilds, really, there's no one great book that'll give you all those ideas or guidance for guilds, but there are some books that will provide you with examples. But mostly, if you learn about the plants, if you understand that, you know, leeks and anything in the allium family grows upright and doesn't take up much space, carrot grows fairly upright, doesn't take up much space, leafy products like, say, lettuce and like, say, the brassicas, they take up space, but there's one that's more like a ground cover, and this one is elevated, so things can grow around it. Also understanding that weeds should be used as a loving term. So the idea that, you know, certain clovers and ground covers, and, you know, as long as it's not extremely invasive or it's not affecting your garden, but a lot of the weeds will actually do a lot of good. They'll help bind soil. In the case of sow thistle, this is amazing. If we look up closely, you'll see aphids. I may have zoomed in a bit far there, but you'll see aphids just on the tips of the sow thistle there. So they're attracting aphids, and yet you're not getting any on the actual brassicas. So they're doing their job. That's why they're left in the garden. You don't just take weeds out for the sake of taking weeds out. Now, as we move along, we're just going to go visit a lovely little perennial spinach up here, one of our favourites. Grows year-round. It does slow down a touch in winter, but it grows year-round. So the Okinawa spinach, and if I can grab that tip and snap it, and look at that beautiful purple, but that, you eat the whole lot, you cook the whole thing, and that works the same way as you'd work any spinach. And even with the stem, if you think the way you cook asparagus as well, you can actually cook the whole thing like in a fry pan, beautiful, with a little bit of organic butter or some organic duck fat, dare I say. So yeah, it's just a quick look at the current status of this particular tunnel. We have other tunnels doing other things. Integration near the animals. Chickens up over here. You can probably hear the ducks in the background. So any excess foliage, or if you're cleaning leaves up, they go straight at the door and into the ducts over the far side over there. I'm just collecting a few things because we've got our course tomorrow. Oh, and making mention that we're talking about guilds and succession, but we're also talking about annuals and perennials and biennials, right? The idea that perennial plants like this beautiful alpine strawberry that's just throwing out some delish strawberries. They're so sweet. They're a little bit slightly perfumed strawberry, and they're working. So you've got a perennial working in amongst annuals, same as what I just mentioned with the spinach. So yeah, I mean, think diversity, guys. Think multifunctionality. You know, think redundancy. What's your backup plan if one type of lettuce or one type of carrot or you know, one type of veg isn't quite working for you or doesn't provide enough? What perennial cousin, if you like, would back you up in that situation? Anyway, folks, have a lovely day.